Hello and welcome to another benefit of the Doud Review. I am your host, Adam Doud, and joining me is co-host Cliff. Cliff, what's up?
Hey, how's it going? I hear we
It
have
is,
something with a gimbal to review today.
yeah. We have a gimbal enabled device. Where did I put it? Oh yeah, that's right. It's plugged in. Oh my goodness. Anyway,
And we've
yeah, we
lost the
have the
device.
Yeah, we have a gimbal-enabled device. Sorry, we had some last-minute production stuff that we were doing there. And it is so you know how like when you want to get like really super smooth footage, you put your phone on a gimbal? Well, what happens when you put the gimbal into the phone? Oh, that's the question that we are asking today. And actually, that's the question that we are answering today because we are doing a review of the Asus Zenfone with an F 11 Ultra, which is right here.
Wait a minute, that's not a tiny compact phone.
No, it's not a tiny compact phone. In fact, it's a large phone. In fact, not only is this the Zenfone 11 Ultra, there is no Zenfone 11 to compare it to tell if it actually is Ultra. This is just the ultraest phone you're ever going to ultra. I mean, really is
It's ultra by
what it comes down
default.
to. It is Ultra by default. But because it has to be because otherwise it would be madness if we didn't have Ultra phones.
Crazy times.
It would be madness. It would be insane. But anyway, yeah. So I have been reviewing this phone for a few weeks now, using it as my daily driver. I actually just moved out of it yesterday because I have another phone coming in that I need to review. But for now, this is the subject of our review today. So yeah, I've been using it for about 3 weeks, give or take. Something like that, just shooting photos and just doing the do with it. So why don't we go ahead
Gimbal things.
and I've been doing gimbal shit. Yeah, that's right. Let's go ahead and fire up Mr. Skippy so we can get a look at the phone as it is. And hello, Skippy.
Hello, Skippy.
So you can see my face reflected in it, which is fun. Fingerprint sensor, obviously, but yeah. So the story behind this particular phone is that we didn't really review, but we looked at the Asus Zenfone gaming phone a few weeks ago. Let's do that because some people were complaining on our last video that when we had our images on the thing, I was doing stuff down here. So yeah, let's do that, and that won't be a problem. But anyway, so yeah, we did the Asus ROG gaming phone a few weeks ago, and this is by the same company, but this is their more consumer focused phone. And I've got my usual gaffer's tape on the back here. I was going to go ahead and peel this off for Cliff before he claws his eyes out. Yeah, so this is the phone. This plastic case actually comes in the box, which is always nice, especially when you have
tape residue. Everyone loves tape residue on their phones.
Yeah, well, that's why we're taking that case off. So
it's gone.
What's kind of funny is this pattern design here that's on the back of the phone is actually reflected on the case itself, underneath all the tape residue.
And that's interesting too, because and it's actually a laptop that you reviewed for, I think, last year. Also has that same the Zephyrus G14. Yeah, it's got that same like lined thing going on the lid. So they're kind of there's some brand synergy going on.
And then here we have the camera island, which is fairly thick. I'm trying to line it up with the camera there, but how thick is it? You might be wondering. Well,
how could we find out?
We've got the caliper showing this that it is 15 millimeters thick, which is fairly spacious. I've got the Pixel 8 Pro here which itself has a fairly substantial camera bump, and this one is only 12 millimeters. So the Asus phone isn't pulling any punches there.
But the Pixel 8 Pro doesn't have a gimbal inside.
No,
actual
it sure
physical
does.
moving parts outside of optical image stabilization.
Yeah, like actual, like you said, actual moving parts. Because so basically, what a gimbal is designed to do is like when you're trying to shoot something, it's going to keep your phone not only stabilized, but if you start to tilt the phone a little forward, it's going to compensate for that and tilt it back up. So that's kind of what
Mm-hmm.
the gimbal is supposed to be doing. And for the most part, it helps. I've got a couple of video clips that we can show you here that will demonstrate how that is helping things out. But I think, first of all, I think we could just start where we usually start with like the hardware and
Yeah.
things of that nature.
Let us know what's under the hood, Adam.
What is under the hood is the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. So it's the latest Snapdragon processor that's available. This particular phone has 512 gigabytes of storage, if I remember correctly, and 12 gigabytes of RAM. It's 12 or 16 gigabytes of RAM. It depends on which model you end up buying. But and it goes from the storage actually goes from 256 up to 512. So I don't remember which one is actually on here. I want to say it's 512 because I've never even come close to filling her up there. But you look confused, Cliff. What do you?
No, I'm just.
Did you have
I'm
a
just
question?
thinking.
Or
I was just thinking if it's the 512, it's actually probably also the higher end or the higher tier of memory as well.
Oh, I'm
16
positive
gigs.
it is.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
positive it is.
So either 256 and 12 or 512 and 16 is what we're saying.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
I can look up storage here real quick. And yep, 512. And I've got 91 of that used. So,
Nice.
yeah,
Although,
yeah.
if you do video, it's nice to have that extra storage.
That's true. That's true. And not only video but games, man. So I made sure I wanted to show on the video here like how a game like Genshin Impact will play. Because that way you can kind of see for yourself how it works. But the thing about Genshin Impact is if you download Genshin Impact from the Google Play Store, that's fine. I want to say it's like a 200 megabyte download or something like that. But then once you download it and you choose like what region you have to play in, it is literally half an hour of downloading and installing like 15 gigabytes worth of data just to get into the game. It's really annoying and I kind of hate it. But I made sure to make sure that that the game was fully updated before we came on the air today because, and this is a little blown out here. I'm going to see if I can crank down the brightness just a tad and see if maybe that helps. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that definitely helped. There you go.
Yeah, so I'm not a big fan of Genshin Impact, to be perfectly honest. Like, it's an open world game, which a lot of people like really, love to celebrate. But to me, an open world game is just like a whole lot of nothing to do. I want to be kind of directed on where I need to go.
You like to have a game on rails, huh?
Yeah, basically is kind of what it boils down to. Like, I think there might be something over here that I can go attack.
Well, I'd say that's probably if it's an open world game too. Like that, all that data that you have to download is the map,
and exactly
associated assets.
So I want to say, by default, the graphics are set to medium on this game, and that's probably where they are here. Which not bad. I'm about to get my butt kicked here, I think, because he's gonna jump down and me move. Oh. Anyway,
well, I guess the question then is if you play on a game like Genshin Impact, which is a fairly demanding title, I think, especially without open world. How's the does it get hot? Do you notice it getting heated up in your hands?
Oh no!
Is this unlike the gaming version of this phone, the ROG? Is it the 8 Pro?
ROG, the ROG Phone 8. Pro
ROG Phone 8, okay. Which has built-in fans and then an accessory that you can add to it. I mean, like you said, it really is true that this phone really is like a kissing cousin to that hardware in terms of the specs, the screen size.
Right. And like if you where how do I there is like a gaming
mode.
How to bring it up. Yeah, like I did it accidentally while we were launching the game. And now I can't do it.
It'll just prompt you for that, of course.
Yeah, but so there is like a game center that you can. No, that wasn't it. I don't remember how to bring it up. But there is like a game center that you can pull up that will, give you it'll like mute your notifications and stuff like that, so you can, you can game uninterrupted, which is always fun. But yeah, so I mean, it's like I said, it's just there's not a whole lot happening here, which is kind of boring. But no noticeable heat or anything like that. So yeah, I think we're in. We saw some gameplay. There's no drop frames. It's a solid phone in that respect.
I mean, honestly, with 16 gigabytes of RAM and the A Gen 3, I would be very disappointed in this phone if it had
exactly
frames. Especially so early into you playing this. Like maybe if you had any battery left after an hour and then you started dropping frames, I guess I might, or if it, the thermals started becoming harder to manage. But yeah, so I would expect this to be a good gaming phone. And then I'm guessing that's an AMOLED, like a higher end AMOLED screen with like LTPO and all that good stuff as well.
Yeah, let me look at that real quick. It's 6.78 inch LTPO AMOLED, 144 hertz screen, and it gets up to 2,500 nits of brightness peak. So it is plenty bright as well.
What about the resolution? Because I know that with at least with the old Zenfone series, and it was fine, but it was a 1080p screen because it was more like a 5.9 inch display.
Yeah, this is 1080 by 2400.
Oh,
so it's probably like an 8 FHD plus.
Yeah.
But yeah,
which again is fine. You might just notice it a little bit more on a 6.8 inch screen versus a 5.9 inch screen.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and stop playing the game because I don't want to die.
I mean, this is great TV and everything, but yeah, we have got a lot of other stuff to talk about.
And watching me heal is probably not the most exciting TV that we could bring to bear. But anyway, so like I dig the hardware. There's no shoulder buttons like there are on the on the gaming phone, on the ROG phone, which of course it's not a gaming phone, so it's not supposed to have those.
Right.
But as far as battery life is concerned, you mentioned battery life. This is a solid 2-day phone. There were a couple of nights that I went to bed and like completely forgot to plug it in, and I definitely got through the next day easily enough. This is at 46% right now, which is like from the day I used it yesterday until I switched phones, and then just kind of sitting at my desk, and then as much as I've used it today. But yeah, so this is a solid 2-day phone, which is great. I honestly think that like most phones these days, if you're not getting 2 days, that's a ding. I think we're at the point in battery tech where if you're not getting 2 days, that is a legitimate gripe that you can have for a phone.
At least when you're talking about this tier of phone, like one that has this processor, that costs this much. Which, how much does it cost? Yeah. I remember it being around $1,000.
It's $899. $899. Or actually, I should say the base model is $899. This particular model, I don't know off the top of my head, but I would imagine you're probably adding at least a couple $100s to that. So, but it starts at $899 because that's where they price the lowest spec phone, so they can tell you it starts at $899. All right, why don't we dive into a little bit of, like I said, the main story of this phone is that gimbal, and where you're going to see that most is in video samples. And so we're going to start off with a couple of video samples. First of all, I'm going to start with, let's go ahead and turn off Skippy.
Hi.
And let's turn on, hello, Cliff. This is a selfie. That selfie video that I shot at Great America. This, of course, does not have the gimbal in it, so This is just
front-facing camera.
This is just a front-facing.
And that's really not bad.
Yeah, it's really not bad. It looks like it's on a rail, which is or on a track. You can see a little bit. I don't know if you caught it, like as things are moving in the background. There's some exposure issues. So you can see it's like getting a little bit darker and a little bit lighter as things are moving around the background. So that's not ideal.
There's the Katie.
And that's the daughter.
There's the Katie.
Sorry, your volume on the video is a little loud.
You hear the video audio,
yeah,
correct?
So we're kind of, guys were fighting with, you were fighting with each other. Camera you and other camera you. No, it's fine.
Sorry about that. So I just turned down the volume. All right, so let's get into the gimbal then. And, okay, so this is me following my daughter. And I'm going to turn the volume down.
Looks like she's on her phone.
Yep, as per usual. That's the natural state. But yeah, you can see, like, and so I'm walking along behind her, but since there is a subject in the frame, you can see it's actually very, very stable. It again, it looks like it's on a rail.
It does.
Or on a track. And so that's a good example of a daytime shot. Didn't have some of the exposure issues that we had with the selfie camera, so that's good to know. Now let's switch to the selfie camera in a darker environment. And this. I'm going to leave the volume up so you can hear the games. So overall here, not great. Like you can see there's a lot of pixelization and just noise and just general badness. And then if we switch to inside the video arcade but facing the other way,
so much better.
Solid pan here, but when you start to walk, there's a little bit of a judder. Not too bad, like compared to like mid-range phones. This is wonderful, but just a little bit of a judder, like as you're walking. But overall, not too bad. The gimbal's really doing its job there. And then I have one more video that I'm going to show you. This is me in the same arcade, but following my son. And just so you can get an idea of what it's like to have a subject in the frame. Yes. And it gets rid of a lot of that judder having a subject, but you can even see a little bit like around him and like what's causing that is just my footsteps, and like my footsteps are jarring like the entire. I can't show you anything else here because we're going into the secret back room that we're not allowed to film in, but what's causing that is the judder from the footsteps as you're walking. It's like sending a jolt up through your body and up through your hand, and only the best smartphones will get rid of that. And
my experience is pretty much the iPhone. That's the only one that I've ever seen that just completely eliminates, and maybe Samsung.
Samsung does it too. The Samsung Ultra phones do it as well. You know what? I don't remember.
The Pixel 8 Pro is a lot better than previous Pixels with that too.
Oh, the Pixel 8 Pro, yeah. Agreed on that account. And then I also have some photos that I can show you. So let's pull these up and do a share screen window, and that should be it. Boop. There we go. So this is just a photo taken in that same. I'm sorry?
That's a Galaga. 35 years of Galaga.
Right?
Midway games. I used to enjoy those.
So you can see there's a little bit of blowout from the from the front panels of these games, but it's not too bad. Like, I mean, this is definitely a darker environment, and if you zoom into like 100%, this starts to get all crappy and grainy. The chair gets kind of garbagey. This is definitely a low light environment photo, though. So
it is well exposed, though, I will say.
Yeah, yeah, it's not bad. This one, you lose a little bit of focus in the background, but I think it was just trying to focus on like one of the
Yeah.
games or something, and like
Yeah.
just kind of forgetting about everything else that existed. This one's much better. This one you get a much
that one feels like it's more true
better,
to life.
right? Yeah, well, and you get a much better look at a better depth
Right.
of field. And then this is at medieval times, and you could. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just laughing that you're at medieval times.
Oh yeah, yeah. We went there for my wife's birthday. It was kind of fun. And let's see. I want to say that was the ultra wide. This is the main camera, and overall, like,
Yeah.
that's very not bad. So I'm going to zoom into 100% here. And you can see like this dude is pretty much in focus. I mean, you could definitely tell what's going on. The people across the way, not so much. But again, this is very challenging. This isn't even bad lighting conditions. These are like actually challenging lighting conditions.
Yes, because you've got
so
bright lights, and then patches of dark, and it's trying to meter, and then it's and it's trying to figure out what the subject is. What should I actually, adjust for in terms of what should be the priority,
right?
And so that's really.
I mean, again, like when you're putting this up on Instagram, it's good enough.
Sure.
It's definitely good enough for like a photo sharing kind of situation. Not much was going to be good here, but you can see the horses like growing wings, which is kind of funny. You wouldn't expect that from a dinner theater show, but
no,
sure enough, Pegasus is. And then this is just like inside my local library, and I like this color wall because it gives you a really good idea of like how the camera handles like lots of colors. And then that is the zoom lens, and that is more zooming. Come with me, my mom's listening to the library. It's a very nice library. This is the rich library that's around us. So, yeah, we have
the bougie library.
The bougie library, yep. But I mean,
glass. That's pretty cool.
Considering I was taking that photo from back here,
yeah,
all these photos were taken from the same place, and I want to say this is probably 10x. I don't recall exactly what the zoom was, but that's very not bad.
No, that's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, and then here we're outside at Six Flags. And this is your ultra wide camera here, and then your main camera, and then we're starting to zoom in a little bit, and just a couple of selfies. And then this is the Joker. That's this is the roller coaster that I lost not one but two phones on 2 years ago. So that was a good time. And then once again, that's the main camera zoom, a little bit more zoom, and then and then a selfie because why not? And I'll think, we're back to the beginning here.
It cycled back. Well, I'm pretty impressed with it overall. Honestly, I think just from looking at that, I'm actually more impressed with the quality of the still photos from the main camera than I am with the video with the gimbal stabilization. In terms of what
that's
they sort
arguable. But I think what the gimbal does is the gimbal makes otherwise totally unusable footage into kind of sort of usable, like especially when you get into like the challenging low light conditions. You know what? I didn't show, and I shot a few videos, but I didn't pull any out of videos at medieval times because that probably also would have given. But that was actually mostly just panning around. That wasn't really like walking or moving at all. So, but let me see if I can grab.
But
just one
thing to think about this is I don't know that Asus is amazing at computational photography or has the software skills on that side. So if you throw a gimbal at it, it sort of negates some of that,
Right.
Or video for that matter, right?
Let me check this video here. Okay, let me all right, let me upload this video because this one's very not bad. Gotta remember how to do it. So yeah, I realized. Sorry, folks, I should have done this one a little bit earlier. We need to go up a level, and that one.
So while you're doing that, I forgot to ask you how large the battery is in it, as far as the milliamp hours.
That is a good question. The battery is a 5,500 milliamp hour battery, and it has 65-watt wired charging with a charger that comes in the box. All right, so here's that.
What a magical thing! What ho, my good man!
Sir Reginald. Was that our night? I don't remember, but I told my son he should be a squire at medieval times. Yes. I don't think he's going to though. He's got the hair for it.
He does. He does.
But anyway, yeah. So that was another fun little video that we shot there. But yeah. So 5,500 watt milliamp hour battery, 5,500 watt battery, 15 watts wireless charging, and 65 watts wired charging.
So wireless charging too. Okay. All right.
Yes.
Okay, yes. I see you, Asus. You 65 watt.
Yeah.
So not competing with some of the highest available charging from some of the Chinese manufacturers, but as good as what Motorola offers in the U.S.
Oh yeah, I don't even think Motorola offers 65-watt charging, do they?
I think they do 60, don't they? With didn't they with the last couple of their phones? Maybe it was only 30. Maybe it was only 30.
I want to say, yeah, I still think Motorola was really lagging behind. Like the OnePlus is really the name of the game when it comes to like
here in the U.S. especially. I mean, the most you can get with Samsung is 45, and that's if you buy the extra charger that doesn't come in like the higher tier charger.
So let's kind of wrap things up. Like overall, this is a very solid phone. You know, the fact that I used it for 3 weeks, kind of says a lot because I don't use many phones for that long.
Do you know? Sorry, this is one of those things that again, it's become such a checkbox thing now. But what are they promising for software updates?
Oh, that I do not know. And it should also be mentioned that this phone actually came to me through one of the companies that I work with, not through Asus. So I didn't get like a briefing or anything on this. I don't know what kind of software support they're offering, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to look for that and I'll see if I can add it to the description. Because I'm sure it's announced somewhere. So, but overall, like when it comes down to, you know, this phone, this is a very, very solid phone, and especially at the $899 price point, it's very competitive. And you know, it doesn't have the super zoom that the Samsung does. And what was the? Oh, you know what? We never actually talked about the hardware of the cameras. Right. So sorry, we should mention that 50 megapixel main camera, 32 megapixel telephoto at 3x optical, and then a 13 megapixel ultra wide camera. So so it doesn't have like the super zoom that the iPhone, you know, Pro Max has and that the Samsung S24 Ultra has. So it's not going to compete like on a zoom level, but I mean, you know, you saw some of the zooming that I was doing with the video. It was not bad. It was very not bad.
That's definitely,
and I think the gimbal adds a lot to, especially if you're going to do a lot of like motion video, like if you're going to be walking and talking, or if you're going to, you know, do things of that nature. I think especially if you're a video person, the gimbal is going to be very important to you. That's
definitely a selling point for it, for sure. I mean, that even though I have not gone hands-on with the phone and you know, I've probably forgotten more than I remembered about it. The here we go. 2 major software updates and at least 4 years of security patches, according to GSM.
Okay. So not amazing.
Not great. No.
Yeah.
For $1,000 phone.
Yeah. But come on, be fair. It's 900. But yeah, no, you're right. No, that's not great for a phone, but it's also like, no, you know what? No, it's
kind of
the
great. Standard.
It's not great.
You know, 2021, 2022, it would have been passable. Now,
right,
not great.
Yeah, not so much. But overall, though, like just for what the hardware provides for the price, this is definitely a viable alternative.
Sure.
One thing I didn't show off was in the software. They do a lot of the. I don't know if you remember with the gaming phone that we talked about. There was like an Asus setup and a Google setup, and you could like pick from either
That's
one.
Right. In the onboarding, right?
Same thing. And it's not major like departures, but it's a little bit more fun, I think. It's just the software is just a little bit more. It's a little different from your stock Android experience.
So you went with when you set it up, you use the Asus version.
I use the Asus version, and I'm trying to see if I can remember. I want to say that there's a thing in settings where you
swap between
them, and I don't remember where it was. Because that's like that they take you through that when you first turn on the phone. When you first get it set up.
Right. In the onboarding, that's your choice, right?
Onboarding, that's the word I'm looking for. But anyway, overall, yeah, I would say if I had to give it a number score, on a scale of 1 to Fitbit, I would probably say it's a solid 8. Solid 8 for the phone.
I think one thing we should talk about real quick, and that's sort of the elephant in the room that we haven't mentioned, albeit maybe briefly, was the fact that the Zenfone 10 and Zenfone 9 were really the only compact phones that you could get in North America, right?
Yeah, if you were looking for a flagship.
Flagship phone that was compact, and now, that I should say that was an Android phone, right? And now that's no longer the case. Like we mentioned, it's got a 6.78-inch screen. How do you feel about that?
I am a fan of the smaller phones. Like I've said often that like the 6.1 to 6.3 inch form factor size is like probably the perfect one for me. Like I think I lean more actually towards 6.1 than I do 6.3. But yeah, so like the fact that this is big, I guess it's just kind of one of those things that you kind of get used to. Like they're killing you. They're killing you like the death of 1,000 cuts with all these like big phones that people keep putting out. There are just no smaller phones around anymore, except for like the OG S24, which is I think itself like 6.3 inches, so it's still not tiny. But it would be nice. I think the narrative is yes, it would be nice to have a smaller phone that had flagship specifications, but they like the market, even Apple has tried and tried and tried and tried, and people just don't buy them.
Exactly.
And like
you have this like very vocal minority of people who say I want compact phones. Right. And so it's been there. You've had your opportunity to buy those small phone fans, but you didn't buy it enough, obviously. Right. Because and it's not just here in North America. I mean, I think this is the only model I think that's available globally of the Zenfone 11.
Right.
So
and I mean and that's the problem is as multiple companies have all tried and just people don't buy them. And so like do I feel okay about it? Yeah, I guess, because I personally I would like to have I would love it if Apple would ship the iPhone 15 Pro with the 5x zoom lens in it. But that's
a whole nother conversation. Yeah, why do big phones have to be the ones that get the
fancy stuff,
the true fancy flagship features, right? Yeah, although we may see something from Google this time.
Probably not
negating that, but I know that's only speculation, which we don't do here on benefit of the doubt. So,
right, yeah, but we'll have to see. Google I/O is coming up pretty soon. Although we're not going to get new flagship phones from Google until next fall,
right?
But although I'm interested to see if we're going to get a new Pixel Fold. But because that doesn't appear to be coming up.
It appears to be shipping with the Pixel 9 series.
Right. Right. So we'll see. But anyway, that's going to do it for this review of the Zenfone 11, the Asus Zenfone 11 Ultra. Again, it is the only phone, so there's no non-Ultra model. So let us know what you think of it down there in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. That's going to do it for this review. So like and subscribe so you can be notified of all new reviews as they drop, which we try to do once per week on Mondays. So it's Review Monday again. So I hope you enjoyed this review, and I want to thank you for watching and for giving us the benefit of the Doud.